Good morning. We welcome everyone here, those that are present in the facility and those that are out in television land. So simply, let's take a deep breath. And I'm going to read a short thing, then we will have about 15 minutes of meditation, and I will bring you back out. This is from Collected Essays of Stuart Grayson. He was a minister in this area. There is a single reality. It is universal and ever present. Is this the vantage point from which you view life? What do you believe about the cause behind all situations? Where do discouragement, fear, doubt, calamity come from? They cannot proceed from the eternal source, that perfect fount of life, the inexhaustible one. They must come from within our own consciousness. Therefore, we must set ourselves right with the universe. We must find the source if we are to be supplied. We must sense that we express the life of God that we wish to realize, spirit in our life. The great spirit of life, the single reality, must be in you right now as the creative principle. And it is in our individual personal connection to God. We were created. We know that we are here. We have consciousness. The great spirit of life gave us consciousness and is reflecting itself in some way in us. We reflect all that God is. We, as a physical human being, as mind, as emotions, as a person. We reflect the creative imagination of that principle, which is another term we can use for God or for the Great Spirit. And so let us just simply take a deeper breath and settle. And as we breathe, let yourself relax. Let yourself go. Let yourself settle on the idea of a relationship with God, because God is not out there somewhere. God is within us. God is here, closer, they say, than our hands and feet. And so, as we settle, as we breathe, as we think about that ever exhaustible unity that is God and us, we relax and we let it go and we enjoy that unity. So let us take a couple of deep breaths to say we're finished with this part and simply be thankful for the presence of God and for each other. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you've decided to join us here today at 4 Points by Sheridan, or whether you have invited us into your homes through the power of live streaming, we welcome you. We are grateful for your presence here today. And I know that, between the daylight savings time change and the weather, that it was a little bit complicated to perhaps do what you originally said you were going to do, and that was to get up and come on over here. But we know you're absolutely where you should be this morning, and we're grateful that you've decided to join us. So thank you very much. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being this community spiritual director. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And at Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that there is one power and presence that is back of everything that there is, seen and unseen, the creative energy that created everything. We believe that it created us in its image and likeness. And since it is creative, then we too are creative. And in fact, we have been using that creative ability our entire lives, whether we're aware of it or not. We create consciously and we create unconsciously. And so we come here to really learn about the principles, to support each other as we walk this spiritual path, and to remind each other who and whose we are, so that we can really live lives that we love to live. And so we're grateful for your presence here today. I would like to thank Betty Harris for her beautiful meditation that she facilitated earlier, knowing that it expanded the container that our service will unfold within. So thank you very much, Betty. And also, I just now invite her back up there. So please welcome Betty Harris.
Thank you. The theme for this year is Living Out Loud. And our theme for the month is Cultivating Authenticity. Reverend Dusty's talk is Dropping the Mask and the Bushel Baskets. I have to tell you, I'm looking forward to finding out what that means. So I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to be in a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And so I invite you to turn within, to open your heart and mind, and to allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to wash over you.
attention back into your bodies, back into your rooms. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome Tina and Maya Lisa, who will be helping us this morning. Thank you. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you both. If you'd please turn within as I speak a word of blessing on today's service. Recognizing in this moment the amazing source that is Spirit, that is God. Knowing that source is love, peace, joy, perfect right action, infinite intelligence. I know that I am one with that source, that I am one with all of those amazing qualities. There is no separation between spirit and who I am. I know that as the truth of me, as I know that as the truth of each person within the sound of my voice, each sentient being on our beautiful planet. I speak a word of blessing on today's service, knowing that it is a good God day, that it unfolds in perfection, already done in the mind of God. So grateful for each of you that have braved the wintry weather we've had this morning to be here in person, to each of you that are watching us live in the comfort and safety of your own homes, and each of you that will be watching this in the future. So grateful for your presence within our community. I speak a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty as she comes forward today with her message, knowing that it will bless us and grow our hearts and expand our minds in the ways that will allow us to embody that person that we want to be in this world. I speak a word of blessing on Cindy Johnson as she comes forth with her beautiful gift of song that she shares with us today. Speak a word of blessing on Reverend Betty for her beautiful meditation, for her presence in our community. And I bless Ava as she works the AV booth, allowing us to live stream and each of us to sound and look good online and in the room. And I speak a word of blessing on Tina and Chloe, who came in early to help us set up the room and greet each person that showed up today. I appreciate their commitment to volunteering. And I'm so grateful for our community, our beautiful Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, and each of you that bring your time, talent, and treasure to share with one another and with our center to make it what it is. I'm so grateful for all of this, and I ask you to anchor this with me with our words, and so it is. The reading for today is from The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams. She writes, "Real isn't how you are made," said the Skin Horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the Skin Horse, for he was always truthful. "When you are real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the Skin Horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand." And now, I'd like to introduce our beautiful musician for the day, Miss Cindy Johnson.
All my life I tried to hide the cracks within my soul. God forbid that you should see what no one else should know. Day by day it wore me down, this aching pain inside. I had no choice but to set free what could not be denied. Beautiful brokenness, love will always win. Beautiful brokenness, that's how the light gets in. Sometimes this world can break your spirit, that's for sure. Comparisons and doubt will leave you feeling insecure, but you can't hide what you are inside. You are beautiful, golden like the sun. Shine your light on everyone. You illuminate the night like the morning star. I see you as you truly are. You are beautiful. 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 Please listen to my words and try them on for size. The impact that you make, you never fully realize. But you can't hide what you are inside. You are beautiful, golden like the sun. Shine your light on everyone. You illuminate the night like the morning star. I see you as you truly are. You are beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Can't hide what you are inside. Oh, beautiful.
So, Cindy, she always takes the time for the week before she's singing to really check in with me about what the talk is about and really listen to spirit to see what songs come up for her around the talk, and wants to really have them, complement the message in some particular way. So today she came in with a number of different songs, and I loved a couple of them, both of them. So listening to Spirit and listening to me, she not only did one or the other, which could have been a choice, right? She mashed them up together. Beautiful brokenness and You Are Beautiful, and put them together so that we could enjoy the message that she had that fit the message that we're going to talk about today. So thank you again so very much. Absolutely perfect. So last week, we began our month-long conversation around cultivating authenticity. And we had the conversation against the background or the backdrop of the quote by Oscar Wilde, which says, "Be yourself, everyone else is already taken." And I said that while the expression is, absolutely true, and it always brings a smile to people's faces because, of course, who else are you going to be? That it doesn't always feel safe to do it in our lives. It doesn't always feel safe. It doesn't always feel easy. It's not something that we step into just naturally. Often we learn that there's consequences to not fitting in, right, in the group or groups of people that we hang out with. Oftentimes our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs are very different from those around us, and it's not always comfortable to be that authentic. So on one hand, it's the nature of life itself to be fully expressed. And within each and every single one of us, there is that impulse because life is operating through us. So there is that impulse to be fully expressed. And yet, on the other hand, we all have simultaneously within us a natural instinct to protect ourselves, especially those aspects of ourselves that we kind of deem vulnerable, right? So on one hand, we have this impulse to express ourselves, and on the other hand, we have this natural instinct to protect ourselves. And lots of times, the challenge is that our instinct to survive and our need to belong is so strong that we actually turn away from allowing our authentic self to be seen. Animals, right? Animals in nature can hide right out in the open. And they do that through like camouflaging, right? They blend in because of their colors, or like the chameleon able to change to on whatever they're sitting on, right? And because of our instinct to protect ourselves, we too often find ourselves wanting to hide, or at least to blend in some way so that we will not be seen. Often what we choose to do is to hide our real self behind masks, or to put a bushel basket over our light so that it does not shine as bright as what it could and should. Human beings wear masks at different times and for different reasons, right? Oftentimes we wear them because it's fun, like on Halloween or over the holidays, or perhaps at a party, a masquerade ball, right? We might wear masks for cultural or religious rituals. Masks are worn often in the theater or in the other arts. Over the last few years, we've worn masks every day of our lives, right? At some point in time during the day, to protect each other and to guard against infection. Now, all of these masks are physical, right? There's something that we can hold in our hands, and we can put them on and we can take them off at will. However, not all of the masks that we wear are physical. There are times and there are situations that we wear invisible masks. Masks whose sole purpose is to really hide who we are, or to protect our hearts, or to protect our perceived place and role in our families, or in our friendships, or in our communities. We wear the masks to cover up our true selves and what we're really feeling. Now, inside of us, life is seeking to be expressed, and yet all the while that protective aspect of ourselves is also at work. While we might want to show people who we really are and what's going on, to let them know what's going on in our lives at a really deep level, that aspect of ourselves fears rejection. And so we figure out a way to hide, to put a mask in front of ourselves, or to put that bushel basket over our light. Now, most people, I would say, are pretty familiar with presenting a certain face to the world. It's a fact that all of us do it to some extent or another. During the course of the day, we can use a variety of different masks to really disguise ourselves for a variety of different reasons and in a variety of different situations. It's all kind of part of our human nature. Now, these masks are the masks of self-assuredness, or confidence, or authority, or perfection, or even efficiency, for example, all the while they're hiding who we truly are. Now, the problem with masks is that when they become the norm, we lose ourselves in the process of trying to please others. We lose ourselves. We don't even remember who we are anymore. Now, the masks we show to the outside world could say something like, I'm confident, or I'm fine, or I'm in charge, or everything's good, or I'm happy. But if we're really honest with ourselves, is the smile hiding the pain in our heart? Or is the laughter hiding the tears in our eyes? Could it be that we're actually feeling, I'm not good enough, or I'm useless, or I'm in pain, or I'm feeling really anxious? Maybe we behave in a really outgoing manner when we go to a party with our friends because we think that's the way we're supposed to do. But what if we're actually very shy? Maybe we're the last person that people would say has problems, but we're actually crippled with fear and anxiety. Maybe we're really struggling in our relationships, but we put on a mask of happiness to hide the truth. If we're insecure, we might hide behind a mask of name dropping. Or if we are unsure of our power, we could hide behind a mask of being a bully. If we don't think that the world loves us or the people in our lives love us, we could hide behind a mask of anger. I'll keep them at bay before they do the same to me, right? If we feel like a fake, like we're not really successful in our particular chosen profession or in a certain project or whatever, then we might hide behind the mask of being an imposter, really posing like we have it all together, when in fact we might be afraid that the world is going to find us out, call us out. We mask the debt that we've incurred to pay for the lifestyles that we can't afford. We pretend that things are okay at work and in our lives when our jobs or our health or our relationships might be on the line. We pretend that things are okay in our marriages, even though there's distance between us, living separate lives in the same house, perhaps. How many of us go through life thinking that if others saw us for who we believe that we are, that they truly would not accept us or like us? How many of us go through life thinking that we're not good enough, or we're not interesting enough, or we're not bright enough? How many of us go through life fearful of the opinions of others if they were to actually see the parts of ourselves that we chose to keep hidden? How many of us go through life bowing to societal or family pressures and expectations for fear of being judged? The thing is to become aware. Like we always say, awareness is the place to start, and to be gentle and compassionate with ourselves if some of those thoughts touch the chord, right? To just be gentle. We can't do anything about it until we become aware of the masks or the choices or the bowing down or the fear that comes up in us. And to be really perfectly transparent, like a number of those could have touched a chord. There's not just one mask that we might wear, but a boatload of them, right? And they're interchangeable depending upon the situation. We've gotten, good, I guess, at being able to pull them out and change them around and do all those things. But we'll talk a little later. Doesn't always work out best for us, right? The Japanese say that we have three faces. One face, the first face we show to the world. The second face we show to our family and to our closest friends. And the third face we really don't even show to anyone. Oh, the really crazy thing, though, is that that's the one that is most reflective of who we really are. To wear a mask of confidence or authority or perfection or efficiency in any particular moment might be the appropriate response or the perfect way to be in that moment. But when we're hiding who we really are, can you imagine that we're constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop, or we're constantly waiting for some threat to make itself known to us because we're not standing in our truth and power? One of our greatest fears is that if we were to really show our true self, the world would just say, "Oh, it's just you." But how wonderful would it be? How freeing would it be if we were to really be able to allow our authentic selves to be seen by others? How wonderful and how freeing would it be if we were to feel secure and loving and accepting enough of ourselves to allow ourselves to be seen by everyone else. The bottom line is that just being you is actually the best and the most important you that you can ever be, right? Be yourself, not only is everybody else already taken, but be yourself because it's the best you that you can possibly be. When we wear masks, we keep parts of ourselves hidden that deserve to shine. Our light is meant to be revealed. It takes a toll on us when we are trying to be somebody that we really are not. Yet we wear these masks or hide our light because we believe that at some level our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs, our gifts, our talents are not acceptable, that they're not enough. Matthew 5:15 says, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." So to hide your light under a bushel basket simply means that we've hidden away our talents, our gifts, our abilities, and we're not using them in such a way that allows us to be our highest and best, or invites others to be their highest and best, that shines the way for them to do the same. It says no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket. Why would you do that? You light a lamp, you put it on a table, and you let the light shine for everyone in the house, for everyone in the room. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, and its light reveals what the power of life is doing through and as each and every single one of us. What we have, that light that is within us, is God-given. It is a spark of the divine. And we get to bring it forward. We get to let it shine. We get to reveal it. Don't hide it under a bushel basket. We're a point in the mind of God. So the invitation is to have the courage to be authentic, to drop our masks, to take down that bushel basket and let our light be seen and felt. It's a way of really aligning ourselves, realigning ourselves perhaps with our divinity. It's a way of really owning and stepping into our own self-worth and our own self-esteem and our own self-love. While hiding behind a mask might seem like it keeps us safe, it only takes energy away from us. And it only really gets in the way of us really developing and making really deep connections with other people. Instead of showing them our whole self, all that they get to see is a two-dimensional mask that we have hiding our real self, displaying who we think we should be rather than who we really are. Pretending to be okay prevents us from actually really being okay. Masks keep us tied to the past. They keep us continually playing a part of a past narrative. To really step into our present and our power, we're asked to be courageously authentic. To take down the mask, to put away that bushel basket, to speak our truth, and to be who life knows us to be. We're all unique. We're all different. Life knows who we are, and life is expressing itself through and as us. The 13th century poet Rumi says, "You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideas and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings, learn to use them and fly. What will happen when we begin to step out there and to be courageously authentic is that we will begin to show up in different ways in our lives, show up in different ways in how we're being and who we are presenting, because we're actually going to begin to allow some of the parts that we've kept hidden to be seen. The invitation is to let go of being stoic when you actually need some assistance or some support. To be the first to open up when we wish to know who other people are. Be willing to be that example. To deeply feel all of our feelings, to clarify our boundaries, to assume that everyone is trustworthy until they show us otherwise, to only say yes to our yeses, and to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we do not have to justify any of our no's. It's a complete sentence. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. What will others say and do? The truth is, probably nothing. Probably nothing. Maybe secretly applaud, but probably nothing. Our biggest risk is their reaction. It's the greatest fear that we have, is their reaction. And if we were to really think about it, right? Their reaction is happening in the future. So if it's happening in the future, we are sitting here making up what we think their reaction is going to be and responding to that. If you're going to make up something about their reaction, why don't you make up something that you're actually going to like? You're making it up. Why not enter into the situation from that place? Feeling good about who you are, feeling good about authentically expressing yourself. The bottom line is that how others act and react is out of our control. It always has been, and it will always be that way. Out of our control. Or as Whitaker wrote, what you think of me is none of my business. As we love ourselves more fully and practice being authentic, we will become less sensitive to the opinions of others. We will become less sensitive. And not in a like a I don't care kind of a way, but it's just like, really, it's none of my business. Of course, that goes for the things that they really say great about you too, right? Sorry. So the invitation is to take our time, to really go only as fast as the slowest part of ourselves can handle it, right? Meet ourselves where we are. So only go as fast and make yourself do as much as you really can and feel good about it. Because that's going to be then our truest expression of ourselves at any given time. We can only experience the love and the compassion and the connection that we all seek and deserve from that place of pure authenticity. Now, there's 3 practical reasons that I have today for why we should shed our masks. The first is to live our potential. Live our potential. We all have to bring all of who we are to what we do. That's kind of why we're here. So there's numerous people who have our same skill set, perhaps even better at it than we are. But there's no person, no one who can bring the same personality, the same creativity, the same spirit to life that we do. Nobody. We are unique in that particular combination, and they can't match that. The irony is that we often mask that part of ourselves And then we lose our greatest potential in that moment, in those moments. We are a unique and individualized expression of the divine, here to bring that unique part of us to the world. If we hide that part of ourselves, if we hide that pearl that only we are, if we hide that pearl that only we can express, then it won't be revealed. It won't be expressed. And what a loss to the world. That's why we're here. It's why we came. The second reason is relief. I mean to tell you, it is exhausting to live an inauthentic life. Exhausting. We put on a mask or 2 or 3 or 10. We put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off, ad nauseum. It is exhausting. And pretty soon, as I said before, we might begin to forget who we really are. And as comedian Fanny Bryce explained, let the world know you as you are, not as you think you should be, because sooner or later, if you are posing, you will forget the pose. And then, where are you? Indeed, where are you? As a 5-year-old kid, I told myself, out of an experience that I had to be perfect in order for the people in my life that I loved to stay in my life. And you couple that with the fact that I'm a recovering 2 or a people pleaser on the Enneagram, and you can imagine how many masks I had to wear over the next 50 years. I walked around on pins and needles or eggshells or whatever you want to say, trying to figure out what everybody in my life needed from me so that I could present that mask to them so they would continue to think I was perfect, so that they would stay in my life. And can you imagine? Sometimes I didn't even know what that was. I didn't even know who I was supposed to be, and yet I was trying to be that. And then there are sometimes you put a bunch of people in a room like this, and everybody needed something different from me. Yikes, right? I mean, how could you do that? It is exhausting. Now, the third reason is healing. Healing. When we wear our masks, we carve out a piece of ourselves. Right? We carve out a piece of ourselves that we're withholding something because we think it's not enough, or we think that aspect of ourselves is unworthy of being shown to the world. We can't be healed unless we're willing to offer up all of the parts of ourselves to be healed, to bring them into the light. Those wounds, those things that we don't want other people to see, we have to be able to bring them all up into the light. It'd be like handing somebody a broken vase and asking them to put it back together again, but not giving them all of the pieces to do it. The cracks are okay. That's where the light comes in. That's where the light goes out. Everybody's cracked up. The thing to remember is that we were created in the image and likeness of God, whole, perfect, and complete. We arrived on the planet that way, whole, perfect, and complete. God doesn't make mistakes. As one of the pastors of Hope City Church in Indianapolis, Indiana explained, masks make shallow what God has intended to be deep. A beautiful line. Masks make shallow what God has intended to be deep. Everything in our lives gets cheated when we choose to hide behind our masks. The underlying truth is that we didn't arrive on the planet. We weren't born with masks. We are the ones who chose to put them on, and guess what? We get to be the ones to choose to take them off. So everybody in this moment, whether you're at home or you're here, if you're comfortable, just close your eyes for a moment and just allow yourselves to really tap into your own inner wisdom. And to think about the masks that you are aware of, the mask or masks that you might be wearing. And if you're unable to tap into the question that way, then think about perhaps a negative message that you've held on to about yourself for a very long time. So either a negative message or a mask that you are aware of. And then ask yourself whether the mask is true, whether the mask is your true self, or if the message that you've been holding on to, that you've been telling yourself about yourself, is true. Is this the real me? Is this the truth about me? Now, more likely than not, I would guess that the answer is probably going to be no. It's not the real me. It's not the truth about me. And if it's not, then you can ask yourself these questions. Why am I still wearing that mask? Why am I still carrying that message around with me? And if I put it down, what would happen? If we can be truthful about it, look beyond the fear or the doubt or the worry that might come up when you think about dropping that mask or dropping that message, probably nothing's going to happen. The funny thing is that opening up ourselves actually threatens others in some degree. It invites them to reevaluate their own lives. And many times it forces them to realize and to really admit that they too have the power to change, but they've just chosen not to. So I invite you to open your eyes, something that you could revisit again later. But for now, don't let that stop you. Don't begin to take that mask off and then let the world scare you into putting it back on. Let it go. Give yourself an opportunity to really see how wonderful and how freeing that could be if you were to really let that mask go or to let that message go. E. Cummings wrote, "The greatest battle we face as human beings is to battle to protect our true selves from the self the world wants us to become." So if you're going to protect something, protect that self. The invitation to today is to think about, perhaps over this next week, to think about the masks that we wear and the bushel baskets that we put over our lights and commit to taking them off. To hold our gifts out to the world with no guilt or shame or regret. To really have the courage to embrace our authenticity and to let our light shine. And by doing so, I promise you that you will, at that point, be living your life out loud. And so it is. So I invite everyone to turn within. To allow ourselves to revisit that center of our being that Heather so beautifully created for us today in her invocation. To allow our eyes to turn away from the world of form and turn our attention inward to that spark of the divine, to our authentic self, that self with a capital S, to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is the truth of who we are, a space and place that we can never be separate from, a place that connects us one to the other by that golden thread of God stuff, that connects us to life in such a beautiful way. And it's from that place of unity that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, and that while we may feel fear or worry or doubt, that while we might want to hide who we truly are and what we truly feel, that it is okay, in fact, more than okay, to let that be front and center in our lives. That it is actually freeing to do so. That as we practice being authentic, that it becomes easier and easier and easier to do. And that not only will we become less sensitive to the opinions and the judgments, the condemnation of others, but will have them thinking about doing the same in their own lives. That it creates a space for them to step into of acceptance, of joy. Ooh, I get to be my real self. I do not have to hide the self that I was created to be. I claim ease and grace around us, recognizing what that is, becoming aware of the masks that we are wearing, and step by step, as slowly or as quickly as we can, we are able to do it given our own consciousness. But to shift from putting those masks on and off to being open and free and available and authentic. We are a gift. We are a light in the mind of God. And what I know is that God doesn't make mistakes. We are here on purpose to be who we came here to be. Not to hide behind some mask, but to be all out, living out loud, our unique and individualized self. And I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. That my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken, and so I speak them and I release them into that law, letting go and letting God be God. And I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you all. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. And this is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the Greater Triangle area. Together, we affirm the truth that this offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give. You can visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. There's a button up in the upper right-hand corner of the main page. You could text the word GIVE using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you can mail a check to our P.O. Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. I now invite everyone, whether you are at home or here with us at 4 Points, please place your hand on your heart with your gift or an intention for yourself or our community, and repeat our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. As the baskets are being passed, please welcome the incomparable Cindy Johnson back to her piano.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Thank you, Cindy. If you would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. And on the homepage, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and send it out to all of the ministers and practitioners. If you would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or to Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Join us after service today for our annual town hall meeting. It's an opportunity to engage with our leadership and to talk about all things center. We will answer any of your questions, hear any ideas and suggestions you may have, and share the ways that we can all serve the community as stewards of the community in the highest and best way for all. We will be joining at 11:45, so there's a moment for you to run out and grab some lunch if you'd like and come right back. We are so excited for our meditation retreat this year. It is our annual retreat, and it will be this year from June 9th, 5 p.m. to Sunday, June 11th at 3 p.m. It is held at the St. Francis Springs Prayer Center in Stoneville, North Carolina, not too far from here, in the beautiful grounds and buildings. We have space for the first 35 people who register, and you can register with a $50 deposit through our website or here at service. The cost is $300 for a double room and $400 for a single room. This includes everything, room and board, and the retreat. Please consider treating yourself to this very sacred and loving weekend. Check out all of the happenings on our website at trianglecsl.org. Now, in the comfort of your own home and here at 4 Points, please stand for our March affirmations. This is a call and response, and please repeat it after me with meaning. In order to love and accept myself exactly as I am, I do the inner work to discover who that is.
In order to love and accept myself exactly as I am, I do the inner work to discover who that is.
Doing so allows me to see beyond my masks to my real self.
Doing so allows me to see beyond my mask, to get in touch with my real thoughts and feelings.
Being in a spiritual community with like-minded people supports my journey of cultivating authenticity.
Being in a spiritual community with like-minded people supports my journey of cultivating authenticity.
They create a loving space for me to powerfully step into the courage I need to be vulnerable.
They create a loving space for me to powerfully step into the courage I need to be vulnerable.
I have the courage to do so and to boldly let my light shine.
To boldly let my light shine.
When I am vulnerable with others, I invite others to be vulnerable with me.
When I am vulnerable with others, I am inviting others to be vulnerable with me.
Authenticity is a practice that I choose to begin today.
Authenticity is a practice that I choose to begin today.
I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough.
I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough.
And so it is.
And so it is.
You may be seated. Please turn within once again as I speak a benediction on this service today. So grateful to know that beautiful presence of Spirit. Grateful for this wonderful service that unfolded today. So grateful for each of you having open minds and open hearts to listen to the message that was brought forward through Reverend Dusty. And that message we will carry with us throughout the week, thinking of all the ways that we can drop those masks, that we can let our light shine, that we could show up as our authentic self in every situation. Blessing each of us throughout this week to come, knowing that the light that we shine is enough and is beautiful, and I am grateful. I ask you to anchor this with me with our words, and so it is.
So we'll stand, and we don't have the words here, but Cindy's going to cue us in because we decided to sing out with This Little Light of Mine.
Here we go. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Divinely given to me. Divinely given to me. I'm gonna let it shine. Divinely given to me. I'm gonna let it shine. Divinely given to me. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. One more time. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Thank you. Thank you all so very much for being here. And also to those of you at home, have an absolutely magnificent week. I love you all.